Hi, everybody. We are so glad that you have chosen to join us on this Easter weekend. And obviously, Stations is a little bit different this year, but it's awesome that we have figured out a way to have an event page. So if you have found yourself to this link, it means that you're in exploring our beautiful artwork that has been submitted, and you have found your way to some of the interview links. So welcome, and we're really glad that you've joined us today. So in this interview, as I sit in my lovely art room, which I wish, it's not my art room, but I wish it was, I have with me today Melwyn Comte. And Melwyn is a good friend of mine, and we go to the same church, which is the church that is sponsoring Stations, Session Community. Both members at that church. I have helped with this project for the last several years, and happy to be a part of it this year too. And Melwyn has been with us for a couple years as well. So why don't you just introduce yourself, Melwyn?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Melwyn, and yeah, I've been at Sessions for quite a few years now, and just really enjoy being part of Stations when I have the opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you have submitted something at Stations for a few years, haven't you?
Yeah, and it's always the same medium. It's always a photograph, because that's kind of what floats my boat.
Yeah, that's
as an
awesome.
artist. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've had some beautiful submissions and really unique submissions too. So I'm really glad that you chose to be a part of this year as well. So do you consider yourself an artist? Like, is this something that you do on a regular basis, or is it a favorite pastime, or how do you see yourself as an artist?
Sure. For me, I just like getting out in nature with my camera and taking photos and just capturing what I see, sometimes in the moment, sometimes planned, but it's mostly of landscapes. And for me, it feels like just mindfulness, the practice of mindfulness, just being in the moment and connected into nature. And it's one of the ways that I relax. So I'm relaxing into the idea that I am an artist. Yeah, it's not something that I saw myself as before, but yeah, I'm starting to embrace that part of me a bit more. So yeah.
As you should. Absolutely. Absolutely. When you have your photographs, like I love what you just said, that you're relaxing to it, that it's landscape, that it's part of what speaks to you. Do you take them home and are you editing them, or are you taking them raw and knowing which one speaks to you to use to put into Stations?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I have no clue about how to touch my photos up anyway. So what you see is what you get,
Yes.
as it comes out of the camera. So yeah.
Which is fantastic. Well, what I'm going to do right now, for those that have clicked onto this link, is I'm going to actually share what Melwyn submitted this year for us. And it's right here. There we go. Yes, familiar scene. I have to say, Melwyn, when I was getting ready to do this interview with you, and they sent me what you submitted this year. This is one of my absolute favorite. I'm a lighthouse gal through and through, from the East Coast of the USA, and there are a lot of lighthouses, and I love lighthouses, and I love the ones here in New Zealand, but this one is one of my favorites. So my heart just leapt when I opened it up and realized what lighthouse is. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what lighthouse this is, and why is this one submitted for you?
Yep. So this photo is 5 years old, and I took it on our 10th wedding anniversary day out. And it's at the Manukau Heads, and it's a really rugged, beautiful place. And I read the brief for Stations and just felt that this photo fitted the bill. And the reasoning behind that for me was I had a choice to make when I was diagnosed with an early stage breast cancer in July 2019, with what kind of journey I would take in that. My pathway has thankfully been a positive one, although not easy, with surgery, chemotherapy, radiation treatment, and now hormone therapy. But I tried to find humour and positivity throughout my journey, and the image of the lighthouse resonated with that. It's a beacon, and it's pointing out the way and guiding you through your journey, much as God does, and how all the nurses and surgeons and oncologists have done with me. Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. So did you know right away that this was the picture to submit this year, or was there something about the
Yeah.
Easter story or anything that?
I loved how the concept of stations just seemed to fit for me, that pathway imagery, and how a lighthouse kind of lights a path for you
Yeah.
in life, and can lead you. Um, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely beautiful, because of the thought process behind it too. Um, Melwyn, you have
Mm,
been a testimony. You have fought hard this year, and to be in this place that the lighthouse is your symbol that you want to share with the rest of
mm,
us and put into what the Easter story is, because it
mm,
is hope. Um, and you shine that hope beautifully in what God has done and is doing in your life. And so yeah, I love the reason why you put in. I love the lighthouse, and I love the photography too, just
mm,
even that you've got, yeah, the flax bushes up close, and yet you can see the harbor and the water in
mm,
the distance. But
mm,
there's the
mhm,
light. Like, I really love the composition of the picture as well.
mm.
That is
Thank
awesome.
you.
That is awesome. Was there anything else that you
Mm.
wanted to either say about that or about your journey, even as an artist or coming into photography a bit?
Yeah. The part of the Easter story that kind of speaks to me through this is the resurrection,
Mm,
and the idea of new beginnings. And I've completed the bulk of my cancer treatment now, and I'm starting to get used to a new reality of post cancer and what that looks like.
mm,
And there's hope for the future with treatment available, and hope that all the treatment I've been through and will continue with will stop it from coming back.
yeah,
Um, and the Pathways journey for stations has been a time to reflect on my breast cancer journey and to realise how lucky I was to have access to free mammograms. It
mm,
literally saved my life, as the cancer was found at an early stage. And also that in New Zealand we have choices and access to medical care fully funded. Um, and I'm now starting the next chapter of my journey, healing from the treatment and gaining my energy back, along with starting the hormone treatments, which will be 5, maybe 10 years.
yeah,
And also reflecting in my journey, I've had, good days and bad. Some days too tired and experiencing bone and muscle pain to get out of bed after chemo. But then other days being able to go out for a brunch with my husband, and attend a Look Good, Feel Better class, which just lifted my spirits. And also connecting in with my church and cell group and being prayed for by heaps of people,
mm,
and having a super supportive workplace as well, who've looked after me right from diagnosis. So yeah, that's just where I felt that I fitted in this
yeah,
Easter stations this year. Yeah.
mm, yeah. Yeah,
Mm,
that's beautiful. I think that the theme this year, it is for some of you, some of us, is for such a time as this, and it
mm,
just seems that really meant to be a part of this for the Pathways reason, um, and and even where we find ourselves right now, that people can come and witness your
mm,
story, your testimony, besides a beautiful picture,
mm,
but that there's something really to be said here. And that's what I hope for those that are
mm,
watching these interviews and that are going through the gallery, that Melwyn's got a little bit of a write-up that will show up with her picture
mm.
when you find it in the gallery, that basically recaps a
Yeah.
little bit of what we're saying here. But that her art piece is actually a bit of her pathway and story of her life, reflected in the lighthouse, but in what she's been through this year. So it feels like to me, Melwyn, that this is a bit of a special Easter, that even though we can't join
Mm,
together the way we normally would plan to for an Easter service, or to walk through stations and witness this stuff, in person. I think that there is a lot to be said for what this Easter represents. Yeah, and I'm glad that you're a part of it, glad that you're here with us, and glad that you're a part of it. So if you guys want to see more, reflect on that, on that lighthouse a bit more, and see what Melwyn says, make sure you continue your way through the gallery, where there's other artworks to reflect on and see. But as you can see, it's not as simple as just having a picture there, that there is story behind these pictures. And we hope that you are touched, and that they help you really reflect and celebrate this Easter weekend. So Melwyn, thanks for being a part of it, and thanks for talking with me a little bit tonight too. And we're really glad for those of you that joined us. So thank you, Melwyn.
Cool, thank you.
Yes, and enjoy the rest of the gallery and other interviews that you can find as well. So thanks for being here. Have a good night.